one way people like to grow their business is through expos and trade shows. We invest in the money, we have this booth, we do the event, and what did we get out of it? Unfortunately, though, there's a lot of mistakes people tend to make when they have this. And so I'm super excited to be joined today. Greetings, Katrina.
Hey, Tiffany. Nice to see you.
So glad to have you. We're going to be exploring the biggest mistakes exhibitors make and how to avoid them. Because if you're going to spend your time, energy, and money doing it, you might as well get some great results.
Yes.
Now, who are you to tell us about expos?
Oh my God, I've done probably hundreds of exhibitor booths, tables, little back of the room things that are like this big where you can only put a piece of paper and one book or something, from full on, 12 by 12 booths or even larger booths. I've even done booths with 3 other people, and we've done joint venture collaborative booths where we all do different things but complementary. And so because when I did that, it was to save money, because the event that we were doing it as was $5,000 for a booth, right? Like, so if I can get 3 other people to split that cost, and then we're all benefiting because we're all working the booth, right? I don't know. Like, I'm always marketing. I'm always been marketing, always do marketing. So there you go.
Love it, love it, love it. And she's going to share all kinds of ideas and expertise with us today. But just to tell you a little bit about our guest. So we have Katrina Sawa. She is the CEO and founder of Jumpstart Your.com and jumpstartpublishing.net. She is lovingly known as the Jumpstart Your Biz coach because she kicks her clients into high gear, making more money, doing what they love, and fast. She is a creator of the Jumpstart Your Marketing and Sales System, 13 times best-selling international author with 22 books, including Love Yourself Successful, Jumpstart Your New Business Now, and Jumpstart Your Blank compilation book series. So there's a lot of things that can go into that blank. She helps entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their business and publish books that generate more clients and revenue. She's been featured on the Oprah and Friends XM Radio Network, ABC, the CW, and hundreds of print media and podcasts. She speaks to groups of all sizes, holds live trainings events annually, and lives in Northern California with her husband, John, and stepdaughter, Riley. So we're so glad to have you from across the country joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's Jason. He would kill me if he actually heard
this.
Oh,
no. What did I say, Josh? It was a J. Sorry, Jason. That's what it says on the page.
It is? Oh, that's so weird.
It says Jason. I just said it wrong.
It's okay.
Oops. Hey, look, mistakes happen as long as you learn from them.
It's okay.
All right, so let's talk about expos and mistakes, because it seems like you and I have some synergy going on. I'm like, here are your networking mistakes. Here's your expo mistakes. So tell us about some of the mistakes people make when they are exhibitors.
Yeah, well, the first mistake is not planning ahead. So a lot of times there's things you need to do in the before the event, then during the event, and then after the event, right? And so in the beginning, before the event, you really want to do a little bit more research about the audience, who's going to be there. You might even ask of the host. This is more of a tip, not a mistake, but a mistake is not asking the host or seeing what other kinds of opportunities you can do when you get there. I'll give you an example. I knew I was going to be a speaker, and I had a display table at a conference that I had to fly to, right? And so I called ahead. They weren't having any event or any kind of anything for the attendees the night before the event. So I thought, would it be okay if I held like a little meetup in the bar or something the night before the event? She said, sure, go ahead. Right. So I put it out there with everybody, all the speakers. I put it out on Twitter and Meetup and everywhere. And this was probably 12 years ago, but I got like 65 people there to the meetup before the event. So I held the event before the event. And sometimes you just don't even think about doing something like that. Right.
I would think most people wouldn't even enter into their mind to think about putting that together or how to do it or what to make happen.
Not stepping on the toes of the host, right? So I planned ahead. I had conversation. They were happy for me to do it because they had somewhere then to go and to do, to send people. And it got some buzz around the event. I even got people that weren't coming to the event that live locally to the event to come to that event. And I got a client from that event, mind you. I got a client from the pre-call from somebody who wasn't even going to attend the event, but because I held it at like a networking situation, I invited all local people and all the local networking groups. Okay, I tapped into the local networking groups like BNIs and this and that. And I went in there. I said, hey, we're doing a meetup. It's free. Come, right? And so it was amazing.
And I bet that helped the day of the event because people were like, they had seen you, they knew who you were. Yes. People were probably bringing over, let me introduce you to the gal that hosted last night's event.
Yes. So I just come up with these ideas randomly. Like I'm always thinking marketing, right? Okay, what can we do to maximize our exposure, our experience, and our visibility, and our clients and our cash flow, right? So that's just one idea before the event. Another idea before the event is I did this with a different conference that I was speaking at, and I did not have an exhibitor booth at this, but I was trying to up my visibility because I wasn't going to be able to sell from stage. It was a very non-salesy event, right? And so I was like, okay, what if I did a video with the host of the event, right? The event host before the event, and we put it out. Would you share it? And they shared it to their people. So I was kind of pre-introduced to the event. Now that doesn't have to do with expos, but it has to do with thinking ahead for visibility, which is what you want, and memorability, right? So those are a couple things you could do ahead. Sometimes you can ask, hey, can I get a certain, can I get an e-blast? Can I put more stuff on the event website? Would you link this? Would you link that? Would you blah, blah, blah? So think ahead like that. You might even, especially if you have books or something if you have a book, you should mail it to the event host. Okay. So they get it a good week before the event. So they have time to look at it. If they don't have time to read through it, they can look through it. Okay. So that they are more engaged with you. They're one out of their 20 something vendors. Right. So those are just a couple pre-things that people just don't think about. Right. Now, let's talk about some pre-things that are marketing material specific. Okay.
Wait. You mean we shouldn't be ordering our marketing materials like the day of or the day before the event?
No. And,
before I did this as a living, I had a promotional products company, and man, we got a lot of those last minute calls. Oof.
Yes. And so I'm exhibiting a couple times in this October and November. And so I've already ordered my postcards. I've already ordered the tchotchkes. I did some mouse pads. I created some mouse pads that are going to have fun sayings on them and stuff. And just things that people will want, not pens. Like I don't recommend pens because the pens just go wherever, right? And nobody ever looks at the pen. So don't do pens. One year I had a really fun stop it button. And so it says, it was my voice on the recording and it says that stop
it. Nice.
Stop it. You're amazing. And everybody wanted one. And they literally cost me like $3 a piece or something like that. But if I get one client from ordering all of them, that more than pays for it. So I didn't order them this time. Of course, last year and the year before, little paddles were a big thing, but something that people would actually use. And so it's really important to figure out what that is. And so I love brainstorming on the tchotchke stuff, but please, whatever you're doing, I know a lot of people think of the floor banners and things like that. I don't have one out to show you. They're actually sitting over there because I put them up for my virtual events. I put them up, but the floor banners, you got to have some big showcasing, big font type stuff because you got to be seen sometimes from across the room. I've been a vendor at conferences where it's this humongous ballroom, right? Humongous. Like you can barely see the person on the opposite end. Right. But if you have a super big with we're talking a 400 point font or something like that. I had a program that I was selling one time. It was my International Entrepreneur Network. And it said only $7 or $7 this number sign 7 per MO. And that's all you could read from across the room. And $7 per month. What was that for? Right. And so, and then it had international entrepreneur up top. And so that was a really big draw from across the room. And I even have a picture of me way across the room, and you could read my sign, but you can't read anybody else's. Right? So when you're designing your signs, I know you're in Vistaprint or Canva or something like that, and it's all small and it looks really big right here in front of your face, but you got to really think bigger about what you're putting on that. So those are some ideas. Another thing to pre-do is, what are you going to send in the follow-up? Sometimes we don't think about the follow-up until the follow-up time, until you get home, right? So do you have note cards? Do you have postcards? I create these little note cards that are already set up with wording, and it has my bookstore on the back. And then I do actually have an assistant who will write them all in and be more personal, but the majority of what I want to say is already typed in it and it's already ready to go. And so I can actually buy these and send them to my assistant and have her, she can already have them in her hot little hand before I even go to the conference. Because when I'm at the conference, now okay, so I don't know if you want me to stop, but I'll keep going.
Go. Give us what you got.
Okay.
And for those of y'all watching, if you have questions, feel free to pop those into the comments, whether that's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Though, if you haven't paired yours, whatever social to Restream, it will not tell me your name, so you may have to put your name into the comment, or go to chat.restream.io/FB for Facebook or /LI for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. Back over. Keep going.
That's okay. So another mistake, let's talk during the event. So people will get there at the very last minute or be setting up their table when the attendees are already there. Big mistake, right? You need to be ready to rock and roll before anybody walks in the room or in the hallway, right? So if the event starts at 8 a.m., doors open at 8, and registration is from 7 to 8, you need to be set up by 6:45. Because there's people already tooling around. That doesn't mean you have to stay there, but you should stay there, because actually the morning before the event, the first day, whatever day it is the best day, especially early, because a lot of people are early to the door and they don't have anything to do other than network and talk to people. And I see probably half of the vendors are not even set up on most of the events I go to. Half of the vendors are not even set up that morning, which is the biggest mistake. And then they tear down too early before the stragglers, before the end, right? So if you're going to commit to an event, you got to commit to it like more before, during, and after, and really make sure that that you maximize every single minute. If you're looking to make money and get clients, right? If you just kind of don't care about it, then don't do anything.
Okay, we got a good comment here coming in that is very similar. Is that Matt Wilkerson there? That sounds like something Matt would say. So networking is a gym membership and the weights don't pick up themselves. Yes. It's kind of, and I've seen expos where the people aren't even there. And I just am flabbergasted. Like, you invested in this to be here. And I take it that is from Matt. So, hey, Matt, good to see you. It sounded like something that you would say. So I'm glad to have you there.
I have invested up to $5,000 for one event before, plus airfare, plus hotel, plus any other expenses for tchotchkes. Yeah. And so, I had to get clients from it. And so I'm really focused on all the little nitty gritty things. So another big mistake that people make during the event is, not a whole lot of people do this anymore. It's mostly the newer people and the smaller events, not a huge conference, but a smaller, like local 50-person event, and they're doing a display table. They forget to put out a little bowl and a little sign that says free drawing, or, enter your card to win whatever, right? So you got to have a whatever to give away. It could be something digital. It can be a big basket. It could be a gift card. Think ahead as far as if you have an international email audience and you're doing the drawing on the last day, some people might be gone. And if it's a physical product, then you have to ship it to them. So you might want a digital something, a digital gift card or a digital download or a free consult or something. But you got to have something that people want that they will opt in for at the table. And so at the, usually what I do when I go to conferences or even small events like this, where there's 100 people and 20 vendors, is I walk around and I always find like 5 people who don't have little signs. And so I bring like colored paper. I bring colored cardstock. I don't have any sitting in front of me, but I'll literally take a piece of colored cardstock and I have my black Sharpie and I'll be like, free drawing, da-da-da. I will handwrite them a sign. I will prop it up, and I will go get a wine glass from the bar and I'll stick it in front and I'll put my business card in so people know to put their business cards in. Yeah. And I'm like, at the very least, please do that. But now that you've heard this, don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. So
what's your thought on free drawing and enter it here versus the resurgence of QR codes and doing it electronically?
I'm just going to say that. So QR codes, you're putting the control in the other person's hand. I don't like that. I have it. I still have a sign sometimes with a QR code. However, I 100% of the time recommend you do a drawing slip. And I'm going to cover up, but you have to have full contact information in here. I have name, email, mailing address, and phone number. Too many people create these little teeny, they're literally the size of a sticky note, the little drawing slips. And I can't even put my whole address, email address on a sticky note. I'm sorry. But so yeah, it's more paper, but this is 2 per page. But I got to have lots of space, because if someone tries to cram in all their little writing, you can't read it, and it's of no use anyways.
And so I noticed, and I know you showed it quick. At the top, it's like all their information, but the lower half is what I find most interesting. So tell us about that.
The lower half is all the different, put an X next to the areas of interest, right? So these are all the things that I work with clients on. And so you can put all kinds of stuff in here. I have a client who is a functional medicine doctor. She does hormone testing. So she might do hormone testing, health coaching, supplements. She might do all these little things. When you do that, I swear to God, I have a stack right here of all these cards that got. And yes, it's a lot more work because you have to manually enter them than a QR code, but I can guarantee that the people that come to my table, I have their information. I can't guarantee it if I just have a QR code and say, okay, go scan the code and get in, and they walk away. Who knows if they're going to sign up? Right. So you can do both, but I recommend the hand sign. And then what you can do from the hotel, and I've done this, is you can go to the business office and you just stick all these in the scanner, create a PDF, and then you can email it off to your virtual assistant, and it can be entered before you get home. Okay, so that could be done before you get home. Shoot, if you pre-write your email for the follow-up, that could be sent before you get home. And the mailings could be addressed before you get home. And you could even voicemail, you guys. I used to call every single person that I met one by one, right? I don't have time for that anymore. And sometimes I'll have hundreds of people. Who has time to call hundreds of people? I don't anymore. I wish I could. So I use a service called Sly Broadcast. It's about 75% accurate. Okay, I will tell you. But 75% of calls going through is better than nothing. So we do that. And I pre-record the message. Oh my God, it was so great to see you at the event. I'd love to follow up with you. Make sure you look in your spam or trash folders for my emails. I'm following, you know what I mean? Like you have to call, you need to mail. You can't, if you have the right address, they have to open their mail. So it's a huge mistake to rely on email only when you follow up. Oh, that's the biggest mistake ever.
We've gotten very reliant on email, which is hysterical because so many people don't do email anymore. It's like, it's the easiest, yes, but if people aren't going to use it, it's not very helpful at all. So we have, hey, Mr. Brad, good to see you. He's enjoying the points that you have for us. Appreciate it. So I know we've talked a little bit before, we've talked a little during. Anything else you want to talk about during, or I know we're getting on to the after as well?
A couple of mistakes people make is eating in your booth when
Oh,
you're actually, please don't eat in your booth. Like if you can, have an assistant with you or have a client. A lot of times I will bring a client to an event or pay for their ticket so they could help me at my table. And they're usually happy to do that because they want to attend the thing anyways. So you could bring a client. You don't have to bring an assistant. You can. A client is even a better testimonial. You've got a live testimonial right there. So you want someone to help you work the booth if it's a big, big event, for sure. Don't try to manage it yourself. But you can set I like to set my booth up or my table up that is it's self-explanatory. So if I have to step out or I am the only one there and go to the bathroom or we're at lunch or whatever, right? I got to eat, right? So like,
yes.
I will put signage on my table that says, enter the drawing to win this. It's very detailed. Like, make sure you fill out all the fields in the form in order to be qualified. And then I might have a sign that says books for sale. Please don't take one. You know, like I might literally have self-explanatory signage in specific places, or, you know, come back in 20 minutes and you can spin the wheel and win a prize, you know, or something like that. So be very self-explanatory. People try to do less is more on their booth. I get it, but it's not as descriptive if you are not standing there, or if you're talking to somebody. You don't want to be, the other mistake is you sit there and try to do a free consult with somebody for 20, 30 minutes instead of trying to get everybody else in the world. You can't do that unless you have people to work your booth. You can't just, I got a hot one here. I'm going to spend 20 minutes with them and I'm going to ignore all these other people that I'm trying to get on my email list. Oh my God, don't do that. You know, have a way to sign up for let's schedule a call for Monday and we're going to go through all of this on Monday. Right.
Yeah.
So
I think people do that at networking and at expos. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm here. Oh, this is a good person. Let me talk and talk and talk. And to me, it's much more about speed dating. I want to meet as many people as possible to see who's a good match to follow up versus let me spend all my time and I could be missing out on several other folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then as far as mistakes in the follow-up is trying to do it all yourself and thinking that you're going to block, a couple hours the next day and get it all done. Ha, 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 ha. You're funny. So just figure out systems, pre-written email templates, right? And just pull them up and change the subject in the first paragraph where you met them. It's super simple when you have systems in place and technology and team that can help you manage some of this stuff and it doesn't have to be expensive. I've got some team members in the Philippines and South Africa, not just the US. So, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for doing the things that are going to make you more money in the long run from this kind of marketing strategy. This is just one marketing strategy out of 20 that I teach, but yeah.
So I know, y'all, that is a lot going through our heads. We've got all kinds of mistakes before, during, and after that can be made. What to do instead. Now, I know you have an amazing freebie, a little gift for the people watching today. And I did see it's on the website earlier. So here it is. Will you tell us about what we will be able to get?
Oh, good. Did the page work?
Yes.
We were testing the page before and my website's going today. Okay, good. So I have a follow-up audio training and follow-up flowchart that kind of tells you what to send, when to send, and all that. And it's really good. And I'm even going to throw in a trade show, like an ebook that I have. So it's not on the page yet, but I will. With anybody who opts in for the follow-up stuff, I'm going to send you this trade show marketing toolkit is what I call it. But it's like an ebook with lots of little checklists and stuff like that. You want this if you're going to any trade show in the next year, trust me, get it now. But I will, if you sign up today, I will see who signs up for the follow-up stuff. And then you'll get this as a bonus.
Awesome. Well, it has been amazing hearing you share some of these tips on how to make the most of it. Because to me, if we're going to do it, we might as well do it well and get the results. Why go to the gym if we're not going to do the workout? We'll go back to Matt earlier. Why go to the gym if we're not going to actually do the workout? Why do the expo if we're not going to make the most out of it? And I think we've got huge opportunities in our lives to make that happen.
I forgot the website in case. So it's jumpstartyourfollowup.com actually will take you to that page. So jumpstartyourfollowup.com. Oh yeah. I got
Wait, jumpstart your business, jumpstartyourfollowup.com
That's a
is
special URL that'll take you to that page. Yeah.
there you go.
You gotta buy, that's another marketing strategy, right? Buy branded URLs for different things you want to send people to. And follow
Yes.
up is something that I've been teaching since day one in my business. And I have really good follow-up strategies. So yeah.
And where do we go to find you online?
I'm everywhere. I like to hang out on Facebook mostly, but I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram. And, I have a website for the business stuff, which you'll get to when you go to that page. And then I have a publishing company too, because I do a lot of books now. So it's just cheaper to do your own books. So love to help people with their business or their books.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to leave the viewing audience with?
Don't be scared of trade shows and expos. And they are worth it. If you do the right things, you can make a lot of money, but you do have to have faith that it's going to work, because it's money up front, right? You got to trust yourself that you're going to be amazing and people are going to want you. And you got to set it up right so people actually do opt in and you get a bunch of leads. And then you have to make sure you do the things in the follow-up, because most of the money is made in the follow-up from an event. Okay. So every single time I do a conference or exhibitor booth, I swear to God, I make anywhere from $7,000 to $40,000, 7 to 40, somewhere in there. Either way, it's paying for my trip and the booth. Okay. So you have to trust and do it. You have to pay up front for that kind of stuff. And it's a pay to play thing, but you gotta be really prepared, I think, and maximize.
Well, we appreciate so much all your tips on the mistakes and how to avoid them and what to do instead. It has been awesome getting to explore this conversation with you. And for those of you out there looking for more money, more time, more fun, do remember we have the More Abundant Entrepreneur Community Show that is happening the third Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. Next week, we are going to be talking about AI and how to use it to save time. Melinda's going to be joining us for talking about motion for your body, getting things moving. And I'm going to share a way to promote yourself subtly without selling. So we do hope you join us at an upcoming More Abundant Entrepreneur show. And let us know in the comments below how you use these tips in the future. How are you going to make the most of your next expo? And let us know once you've downloaded your freebies. And so you can make sure you're doing the follow-up as well. Thank you so very much for being here. And we'll look forward to seeing y'all soon.